Hello friends and family, we are back for the final video, number 6, and we're going to talk today about the education years, 1967 to 2002. And Dad, I've got a list of all the schools here that you taught for. It's really kind of an amazing list. So I'm going to go through those right quick and talk about some of the people and places. The first one I remember, as a young boy, you got involved at Southern Bible College, which is there in Houston. They were in an old hospital building, if I remember correctly, and I was fascinated by the old building.
Yes.
And then they had a new building next door. Anyway, that's where your interest in higher education started,
Yes.
working with that private Christian college at Southern. And then we moved, in 1967, we moved from Houston to Southwestern Assemblies of God College in Waxahachie.
That's correct.
What did you do for Southwestern?
I replaced George Brazel, who'd been the projection recruitment man, and I did his job, which the college covered several states and region, and I oversaw the recruitment and public relations and did a lot of travel.
Mm-hmm. And from Southwestern, then, you followed George again and took a full-time teaching position at Cisco Junior College.
That's correct.
And while you were working at Cisco, you started your master's degree. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes, I had enough graduate hours from attending SMU that I could qualify to teach in the college, although I didn't have the master's yet. But while teaching there, I traveled to the nearest university that I could go to and completed a master's degree there.
And the name of that university was?
Hardin-Simmons University.
In Abilene, about an hour's drive further west,
Yes.
right, from Cisco. And then, I don't remember the exact year, it might have been 1972, we moved from Cisco, culture shock, to Minneapolis, St. Paul, and moved to Apple Valley. And Apple Valley at the time didn't even have a high school, so I went to Rosemount High School, rode the bus over the hill of that, and you worked at North Central, then Bible College, now University. Talk about what you did for North Central.
I handled their public relations and recruitment, was in charge of the yearbook and the school paper and all that sort of thing. And again, traveled a lot because they covered 7 different states, and we tried to stay in touch with recruiting. And while there, the first 2 falls I was there, we set enrollment records for the college.
That's great. And then I remember you at one point said, if I'm going to do something outdoors in December, I'd rather be cutting grass than shoveling snow. And so you and Mom picked up and moved back to Texas, and you reconnected with Southern Bible College on that move. And by then, I was attending Southwestern in Waxahachie, so that kind of brought us all closer together, closer to home. But the next college that you got involved with was a brand new one. A lot of interest and a lot of excitement about this. You guys picked up lock, stock, and barrel, moved across the border to Louisiana, and you remember who you worked for over there?
Jimmy Swaggart Bible School.
Yeah, and what did you do there?
I directed summer missions. We recruited the students, trained them, and sent them out in the summer as teams to do evangelistic work.
How many teams went out each summer?
Probably 12 or 15.
And 12 to 15 students per team.
That's correct.
So between 100 and 125 or 30 students that you had the opportunity to interact with, train, and put into the mission field every single year.
Yes.
That's really exciting stuff.
Enjoyed it very much. Enjoyed it.
That's great. And then
of course, we took teams ourselves. Helen and I took a team too.
Mm-hmm.
We just didn't send them, but we took our own team.
Yeah. And you guys visited, I think, almost every continent, right? I know you've been to Europe, you've been to Africa, South America, Asia.
Yes.
Australia, I don't think so.
Central America.
Central America, yeah. So 6 of the 7, 5 or 6 of the 7 continents. So that's great.
I've made over 52 trips into those areas.
That's amazing. And then from Jimmy Swaggart Bible College, you moved back to Houston, got re-involved. Was Southern Bible College still there, or had they moved by that time?
No, they were still there.
Okay.
And this time I had the degrees that I could be a department head in that college.
Great.
And I worked there till I retired.
And you also worked for Lone Star Junior College somewhere in
Part-time at Pasadena.
And then you said you retired and followed us out to North Carolina eventually.
That is true.
And then worked for Montreat College, which is where I was working
Yes.
at the time, and worked in their adult education program there. And I think that's kind of cool that you started your career teaching in a small private Bible college there in Houston, and you ended your teaching career working for a small private Christian college out in North Carolina. But things have come along so far in that time that adult education delivery, which was not a thing in the 1960s, it is now all the rage, and today internet instruction, of course. So your career spanned that whole time period. What drew you to education in the beginning? Why did you get involved with higher education?
I felt that being raised in a preacher's home and that sort of thing, that I wanted to get an education, but I wanted to be able to teach in the secular area as well as the Christian area.
Mm-hmm.
And I set my goal to become qualified to join a Bible college and teach the subjects that what we call were not Christian subjects, but were required for them to have accreditation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I majored, in that area.
Required to have accreditation, and just as a well-rounded person, the liberal arts core, you want to be able to be aware of all of that. I kind of did the same thing. Both of my degrees, my first two degrees were from private Christian schools, but then my doctorate is from Louisiana State University, a public university, because I wanted the public stamp, the public imprimatur on my training, so that I would be able to work at any college, public or private, and teach at any level, up to and including doctoral studies, which is, I've been fortunate enough to be able to do that. Do you have a particular memory or a particular event or circumstance that was really meaningful to you from your education years, all the things that you did?
The thing I enjoyed was meeting people who were names. We would be in the same programs presenting, and they would be representing their ministries. So it was actors and pastors and songwriters and all of this. I got to meet them in this situation, and I think of those now and then that we got to know. The songwriter that wrote "It Is No Secret What God Can Do," we shared the stage in one of the programs.
That's terrific. And I remember you traveled to Tulsa when Oral Roberts University became a thing, and you actually interviewed OR, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I did at the celebration. I sure did.
Probably somewhere the cassette tape of that interview still exists. We'd have to get out here in the storage unit and find it. The other thing that we know exists is over 600 slides that Dad took in country in Vietnam, and that whole trip that he took. Going back to segment 5 of our video, we're going to see if we can find those and get them posted up on the page for you so you can see those pictures of Vietnam as well. Finally, there was a piece of advice that you always gave your students when it came to what Zig Ziglar called stinking thinking. What was it that you advised your students to do?
Well, I told them when the stink piles on you so deep you can't have it, flush it. So that was the word that year around campus. They just trouble said, well, flush it.
So folks, if you've had a bad day and you're just now looking at this video, now you know exactly what to do. Just flush it. Thanks for being with us. This concludes our video series. We're just thrilled that you've been with us all the way through, watched all these videos, and we're now almost at June 17th, Sunday afternoon, 4 o'clock. Between 4 and 7, join us at April Sound Church. We're celebrating 70 years of ministry of the Reverend David L. Johnson. And, of course, you know what we're going to say now.
Keep stroking.
Amen, brother.
Amen.